station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning and welcome to INCRadio, South Central State Satellite Studio. Thank you for all those joining today. And today we will be talking about RVing. I'm so excited because I have two friends here today on our show. So before we get started, let's go ahead and have them introduce themselves. Ron, do you want to go ahead and start?
Sure. My name is Ron Pobletti. I'm out here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Thank you.
My name is Miriam Javier, and I'm here in Roseville, California.
So thank you so much for joining us. I know it's really early there, still in California and Nevada, so I really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and start with our topic. So first of all, Miriam, how long have you had your RV, and like what kind of an RV do you have?
I own a camper van. It's red, which is my favorite color. I've owned it since 2017. We actually flew to New Mexico, picked it up, and drove it all the way back to California.
Oh, wow. And so are you still working? Are you retired?
I work as a counselor, so it gives me a lot of times. I'm usually off more than the holidays, so it gives me a lot of time to use my camper van.
Oh, that's so cool. And what about you, Ron? When did you get your RV?
I got my RV 2 years ago when I actually retired. I retired early, fortunately. So that was always the plan, to get the RV.
Oh, that is so cool. And if you guys can see, you know, Ron is in his RV right now. That's where he is live in his studio. So that is pretty cool. So first of all, let's go ahead and start. Why did you guys get an RV? Miriam.
I'll go first, yeah.
Sure.
So one of the times I went to San Francisco and we wanted to watch the fireworks, but we had to park somewhere. So we ended up parking in a parking lot and just waiting till the nighttime comes so we could watch it. And then we went out to eat and the salad was horrible. And I thought we got to do something better. And then another time we went to a really nice hike in San Francisco, where again, we stayed in a hotel, drove to the park to go hiking. And I thought that was odd. So I told Aunt, I really want something, a tent, a pop-up, something. So we got a pop-up first, and that was great, but very difficult to back into. It was like horrible if anybody has ever tried to back into a trailer. So we finally decided on a camper van. So it allows that short-minute time to get to the places we want to. But most importantly, we're closer to nature, and we could cook our own meals.
Oh, that is so cool. And Ron, why did you get a RV?
We've been RVing since, actually, I've been RVing since I was a kid as well. My parents had we started off with a VW camper van with the pop top and everything else, and kitchen and all. So we had, we went from that and graduated to a Class B RV, like a camper van. And just growing up, we've always went traveling and camping. So when I got married and we had our children, we kind of did the same thing. We started off with a Volkswagen Eurovan, which a camper van basically, that we traveled in and went camping with the kids. And as we've had that for quite a long time. But then there was a lot of maintenance work that had to be done, so we had to get rid of it. But the plan was always to get an RV when I had planned to retire, so we pulled the trigger.
See, that's pretty cool. Like for me, I do want to go like on road trips across the US, but I would be scared to drive something that massive, you know.
It's not that bad. You'll actually, you just have to remember that you're a lot taller and wider, but yeah, it's no problem at all. You can handle it.
Yeah, my aunt used to own like a big SUV, and I would hate driving those. Like the small SUVs I'm okay with, but the big ones, they're just like too big. So, anyways, so like tell me, what type of amenities do you have in your RV? Miriam.
So for mine, we have a shower, a toilet, a microwave, a stove, and a refrigerator. So we have all the amenities. There's a queen bed at the back, and then the front switches into a twin bed. It's got closet, which is what I need. I do glamping. Plenty of space for shoes and toys. So it's a camper van, small enough, but it has everything you ever need and
Oh, that is
more. Sometimes I'm like trying to stuff things in there, and there's still more spaces.
that is so cool. I know I watch your videos when you're doing your prep, and it's pretty cool.
I
How about
love prepping.
how about you, Ron? What do you got in there?
We have a Class C RV, and it's a little bit bigger than your regular camper van. If you can imagine like one of those U-Haul looking trucks, it's basically like that where you can actually have you can sleep above the cab, the
Mhm.
driver's cab, so you can sleep two up there. This particular RV sleeps six.
Oh wow.
Our couch sofa area, it actually pulls out
Hmm.
and that turns into a bed. So you can sleep two there, two up on the top, and then our dinette turns into a bed as well. So you can sleep two there. But it's fully equipped with the full kitchen, freezer, refrigerator, stove, microwave, bathroom, and shower as well. So we're pretty
Our,
fully equipped.
Ours is full equipped, but we don't want to mess it up because Filipinos, we don't want to mess up our kitchen. So we actually cook outside, even though we have a full stove. We have our portable stove. And we cook out there,
Yeah,
so it
we
doesn't
do the same.
like
Yeah,
'cause
just because it gets kind of, I mean, the smell inside, unless we're out there where you don't want to, if you're kind of out there like at a public place and you can't really cook outside, we'll cook inside. But for the most part, we'll prepare food, and just heat it up in the microwave.
yeah.
So you guys have a mobile home plus a mobile kitchen that you put outside of your mobile kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that is the Filipino thing. Now, do you guys have like washer or dryers or anything like that in your RVs?
No,
No, we
you
don't.
hang it outside for drying.
Really? And
Yeah.
also, yeah, so usually like when you do trips, how long do you usually go on a or what's the longest you've gone on a trip in an RV?
For us, just this December, because I visit my son in San Diego. So this is the first time we actually stayed in the RV for 2 weeks.
Hmm.
So if we were to wash anything, we'd go to the laundry room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron,
For
what's
us,
the longest you've done?
we've stayed at RV resorts that actually have those amenities. So if you can find one, they usually have. I mean, other than your campsite itself, you can actually these RV resorts actually have laundry mats, workout rooms, and everything else. So it is a resort. You just get to park your RV there.
So are there normally fees that go if you stay at those resorts?
Usually there is a fee to stay there, and usually the amenities are all included.
And usually the fee is just to park or is it like a per person thing?
To park, that also includes your water and electricity hookup, sewer as well if you wanted to hook up to that. So
So an average price for like an RV park would be like $75 in California. I
Mhm.
like to stay in state parks because they're cheaper. They're like $40. And then out of state, sometimes they're as low as $19 a night. And that's the huge difference why you have a camper van or an RV.
But do you guys ever park like not at a
Yes.
park or not? Where would that normally be?
Walmart. Everybody knows about Walmart. It's the first time we picked up our van and we couldn't make it to our first site. So we're like, we're gonna stay. And everybody knows you stay in Walmart. Very
yeah,
loud. I did not sleep because there's always somebody yelling. But yes, Walmart's one of those places you could stay. Another time is one of the campgrounds in San Diego closes at 6, and I didn't know. So we had to stay near my son's neighborhood. nobody bothered us, which is great. But I was still panicking. I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody's gonna bump into us or, tell us to leave. But yeah, Walmart's the best
So
place.
practically like any empty parking lot, kind of.
Some.
Yes, that particular one they allow you to park there, but you do have to check the city ordinances because there are some cities that won't allow you to. So the best thing to do is to get on the online, and there's a lot of apps also that will help out. It's other RV users that will put their input on where you can stay and can't stay and so on.
So
So you
Ron,
guys
have you done dry camping? Because I think that one I haven't done that one. I know someone from my
Yeah, dry camping is basically just without any hookup. So you're basically out there on your own, using your amenities here in your RV. The more of the resorts or campsites will have the hookups for you, but the dry camping is basically just what you have in your rig. So
So Arnie, I haven't done dry camping, but from what I heard from others, and you tell me, Ron, but I think federal lands are free.
yes,
Oh,
usually Bureau of Land Management, any of their land, you can park there for free. It's called dispersed camping, and they won't bother you if you're parked out there. So yeah,
that's
it's kind of scary because you're out there in the
That's
middle
why I
of
haven't done it.
nowhere, but at the same time, that's part of the adventure also. Not having electricity and all that, you're just using whatever power you have in your camper or your camper van. That's basically what you have, as well as water and so on. So, yeah, we've done that quite a bit. But one thing that we've done is we like if we're traveling and we don't want to really like spend the whole night and just to maybe pull over for a couple hours just to sleep. We've stayed at truck stops along the way, and they allow you some allow you to stay there for a couple hours if you're just getting your rest. But the cool thing about that is they have all the facilities there as far as bathrooms, and some of them even offer showers also.
oh wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
yeah.
Real quick from Roy Aquino joining us in the chat. He says, if you have an RV, Arkansas would be one of the best places to go. He said they have 52 state parks out
Nice.
there.
Thank you.
Like,
Yeah.
have any of you all been to Arkansas yet?
Not I've driven through there, but not in the RV. We've pretty much tackled all the southwest states off this side of the Mississippi. Our plans for the future is to tackle the east side. So we'll definitely stop through Texas to go visit you guys.
Yes, and you could park in front of my house because I got a corner lot. So there's going to be a lot of space for your RVs.
There you
So
go.
where is the furthest you've gone in your RVs?
Mine is Yellowstone. I haven't been too far. I want to make it to Niagara Falls, but Yellowstone has been the farthest so far.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think for us, and we're pretty. Let me see where Miriam is, and we're kind of close because we're like right off on the other side of her. I think Yellowstone would probably be our longest road trip as well. But we've been to California, Nevada, Utah, Montana, Idaho, Colorado, New Mexico. We just we need to tackle the East Coast.
That's so
It just
cool.
takes long though. I think it would take us at least 3 weeks if we were to do it correctly, where you get some rest, but it's at least 3 weeks to get across and back.
Now, your food situation, how do you deal with food?
Well, like you mentioned, I do prep a lot. I cut a lot of vegetables so that all I'm doing is I'm just putting it together, or I'll cook something the night before and that will be our dinner. So there's a lot of prepping. We usually will just do groceries if we run out of food.
Oh, along
Yeah.
the way.
Yes.
So it's not like you stock up completely.
No, because it's limited space. So you have to do another groceries within 5 days.
Oh, that's cool. What about you, Ron?
Yeah, we pretty much do the same thing. We do like to treat ourselves nice to a hot dinner that we don't cook, basically because we're prepping and cooking here in the RV, but it is kind of nice to step out of the RV and dine at a restaurant and be served. So we'll do that once in a while, but for the most part, we do the same thing. We do a lot of prepping and cooking ahead of time, and then just basically reheating.
And what's great about the sizes that we have, the Type B and camper van, they can park anywhere. So they're
Yeah.
small enough to park like at Starbucks or restaurants or a mall. So
Yeah. And if it doesn't look like, if your camper van doesn't look like a camper, you can get away with that as well. It'll look like a regular van, but in our case, because ours is bigger, I have a little model. This is our little mascot, but this is kind of the
Oh,
kind of RV that we
how
have,
cute.
and we take this along with us. It sits up in the driver's or by the windshield. But if we park somewhere, we can't get away with that. They know we're camping. So.
Yeah. See, Miriam's I've seen. So hers, she totally could get away with it because hers looks like a van. You
Right.
wouldn't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So what are the challenges you face in having an RV? Like, like let's say without getting into like too many gross details, but like the restroom. Is it a challenge? Like, because I know how small it could be.
well, we don't do those. We only do number ones. So for the boy, the middle, Noah, it's hard for him, but we've gotten used to it. So especially if you stay at an RV park, I
Mhm.
usually stay at a state park, so it's a little bit more challenging. But you get used to it, especially when you get the views. So you got to give up something.
Yeah. What about like the shower situation?
We haven't showered in ours, but we
Mm.
kind of plan our trips around places that we would stay. So if we are staying at a RV resort or any kind of campsite that has showers, that works for us. The one thing I think I mentioned earlier about the truck stops, we've showered at truck stops as well. And if we're on the road on a long journey and you need to take that shower, you can. It's fairly cheap too. It's like, I want to say like $11, $12, depending on the truck stop. But like for me and my wife, we can share it and just spend that much money and just share that time. You get like a half an hour or so.
Oh
of
yeah.
time. Yeah.
So yeah, we won't stay anywhere where there's not a full bathroom and shower area. So that's one of the things we have to make sure of. But there are rare occasions, especially in Utah, where there aren't any showers. You have to shower
Oh.
inside, and I'm quite an expert at saving water.
Oh yeah, like that. So where is your water stored?
There's two. One is for drinking, and then one is for washing your dishes. But there's there's a space underneath that keeps all the water. So the husbands do that to make sure we still have water. Thank
So,
you.
so that means you can't be taking long showers if you actually have to take a shower
No.
in there.
No.
Exactly. You want to conserve. I mean, you can take a long shower, but the next person next might not have enough water. So
That's my son. We have to keep telling him, you gotta shower like less than 5 minutes.
See, then I don't think like Riley or Mason would be able to go on your trips because those boys, they take long showers.
Oh, yeah, they take like 15-minute showers for school. So it's a big change for him. I'm like, it's gotta be fast. And you gotta turn it off and then turn it back on. So
Oh, so you can't even like let it drip.
no.
That would be really, that's interesting. What about your sleeping situation? Like what's the most you've ever had in your RVs?
for us, it's usually me and my wife. But if we take my daughter, um, and usually she'll have one of her cousins or friends come with us too on these trips. But I would say four. Actually, since we're on our cameras are working, I can actually give you a tour.
Yeah, give us a tour.
Let me see if this will work here. But like I said, it's a Class C RV. So if you can see where the driver's seats
Mhm.
are, there's a space up there for sleeping.
And how many can fit up there?
Two
Okay.
can fit up there pretty comfortably.
So is that like a full size bed?
I would say it's about a full,
Okay.
yeah, full size. Um, You'll see also there's the TV up there. Over here is the couch.
Mm-hmm.
This particular RV has what's called a pull out. So this actually pulls out so that you have more space, and
Okay.
then that turns into a bed, and you can sleep too there.
Okay.
And then here at the dinette, the table goes down, and then the cushions will sit there, and that turns into a bed. And you can probably sleep one person comfortably, maybe two smaller people here.
Oh,
And
that is so
then
cool.
in the back is our little kitchen with the sink. We have our stove and microwave up there. Uh, Across from that is the freezer and refrigerator,
Mm-hmm.
and towards the back is where the bathroom is. There's a door there that closes for privacy, but you have your toilet, your sink, and on the one side is the shower, and then on the other side is like a big closet. So that's basically our layout for our RV.
So how do you get up there?
There is it's up there right now, but there's stairs, a
Oh,
little
okay.
ladder. We kind of keep it up there so that it doesn't get in the way. But there's little hooks right there, if you can see that, and it just hooks on that, and you just climb up there.
Oh, cool. So Miriam, I know you've gone on trips with all three boys. How's that sleeping situation?
So only three can fit inside. When the two boys come, one time they brought a tent. Other times they stay at Nicholas' space, or we have to stay in a hotel.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so we have to have a hotel. But I love your fridge, Ron. I mean, mine is only half the size. I'm looking at that like, oh my gosh, ice cream.
I know. I just saw his. I was like, wait, that's bigger than yours. Now, so then, like, so where's your bed and all that located in your RV, Miriam?
Mine, it's in the back. The way it works is that it pulls up and then you bring it down. So it's a queen size. And then Noah's at the front. We bring a mat for him
Mm-hmm.
and it just goes across. So it's like a twin size, smaller than a twin size, probably a sleeping bag size.
Oh,
So
that's so cool.
he would rather stay with his brother though. So
Oh,
whenever
they're
Nicholas
outside.
comes, he's like, am I going with you or am I staying?
Oh, that's true. He probably wants a comfortable bed. So, where's like the most interesting place you brought your RV to? Ron, I know you were telling me earlier.
Oh gosh, um, so many. It's hard to say. We we've tackled let's see, 20 national parks
Wow.
and 22 national monuments. So we've been around. That's kind of our goal to get to all the national parks, but each one is so different. I'm a landscape nature photographer on the side. So that's kind of the hobby of mine that I've taken on after retiring. So that's one of the reasons for adventuring out there is to for me to take a lot of photography out there, and that's why I would say most of the national parks we've tackled on this side of the country. There's still a lot more on that side, so hopefully we'll get to that. But that's kind of our goal.
Where did you say you saw the Northern Lights when you went with your RV?
Oh, so last week
Wow.
we wanted to get away from the city lights of Las Vegas because there's so many, but it's so bright out here. We drove 2 hours to Death Valley National Park, and it's one of the darkest areas close, well, close to us. But we went out there because we felt safe because I know the area pretty well, and I know the parking situation there too. So we felt safe going out there, and we went out there to watch the meteor shower last week because it was the peak of that meteor shower. And
Mm-hmm.
so we sat out there. I tried to capture it on camera, but you just can't. It's hit or miss trying to capture a meteor. You're lucky if you do get one in your shot. But as I was taking more astrophotography, I was taking some stars towards the north, and as I was taking pictures, I kept seeing this reddish glow, and I didn't think about it at the time, but when I got home and started looking over my photos and I was on social media, I realized or I found out that there were actually that it was the Northern Lights,
Wow.
and for some
Wow.
reason, we got lucky that we got to see that and I got to capture it. But I saw so many social media posts that said that it wasn't even announced or no one knew. It was just luck of the draw to be there at that time and capture it. So that was kind of unique, a pretty cool experience.
That is so cool. You're going to have to post those pictures. I want to see what they look like.
Yeah, they're there. I posted it. So
Okay.
and just being out there, we took my our niece who was visiting too. We took her out there, and just she hadn't been well anywhere really where you can really see the stars.
Mm-hmm.
It's so dark out there that you need your eyes need to get adapted to the darkness, and once it does, it takes about 15 minutes or so. All the stars just appear in the sky. It's crazy, and but because it was a meteor shower, we saw quite a bit just in the sky. So it was a great experience for her as well.
I'm so jealous. That sounds so cool. What about you, Miriam? What's like an interesting or exciting place you've taken your RV?
I love Joshua Tree. I love that park. I mean, I wish I can go back. I like Sedona too. But one of the best times was, in California, you back into a beach, like Sea
Mm-hmm.
Cliff in Santa Cruz. That was one of the most amazing experience because it's right there. It's kind of scary because when you're sleeping, you're thinking, am I going to be under the ocean when I get up? Because it's so close to you back into it. But here in California, there's so many places to park and camp that the beach is your back door. So I love that place.
I know I've
And
seen a lot
Utah.
of you're waking up in the morning and you've got the beautiful view.
And watching the sunset, that's one of the great things about in California is just there's so many beach camping.
Mm-hmm. So when you go on these trips, are the boys normally excited to go, or is it one of those where you kind of have to make them go with you because they'd rather, go somewhere else in a plane or something?
When Noah was younger, he loved it. He
Mm-hmm.
told one this, and then he got older and he told his friends, yeah, I hate camping. And his friend goes, you hate camping? I love camping. He doesn't realize what an amazing experience it is because he goes so often, like
Mm-hmm.
to go to Utah and to do some of those hikes or to go to the redwoods and see those amazing places. He thinks it's like, but he's going to go up and go back to that and realize that, wow, we went to some of the most amazing national parks. So yeah, he dreads it.
What about the two older ones?
We've been trying to get them all three to do like a trip across the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully when Noah graduates senior that they will, but they know there's a responsibility with RV. Not everything is perfect. So you got to make sure you check everything that works. And sometimes they break down. So they know that they have to take care of it. So we'll see. I'm hoping they drive across. So.
And what about cabin fever? Do you guys ever feel like you get cabin fever when you're in there for such a long time?
We haven't yet. I think this is kind of our. I think we get more cabin fever at home because we want to go out and adventure. Yeah, because and I'm thinking, or we're both thinking as time goes on. I mean, this could be a lifestyle that could be permanent, and we are thinking of maybe someday upgrading this and really go from state to state, just kind of live that RV life because a lot of these resorts, like I had mentioned, has all the amenities and that you can have, and if you don't use yours in the RV, but it's fairly cheap as well. I mean, we'll still have our mortgage, we'll still have to pay off our house, but if we can rent that out or give it to the kids to take over, we can move from. If it's too hot in Vegas, we'll go up to Oregon or Seattle for a month, and if it's too cold up there, we'll go to San Diego for a month. So I mean, it's something that we're really considering, and we're kind of doing it part time already, but we can see this being a full time thing.
It's definitely cheaper than a mortgage. I mean, like
Yes.
in California, it's supposed to be really expensive in here. I used to be part of a Facebook group for camper vans, and they're like $40 a night. That's expensive. Whereas in Arizona areas, it's like $19 a night. So you could join like a gym
Mm-hmm.
and take showers there and exercise there. So that's what a lot of people do. But yeah, Ron, I have a couple of friends at work that wants to do it full time when they retire.
Yeah, and a lot of people work remotely now, so you don't have to be at home. You can, if you have internet access, you can work right out of your RV. So a lot of millennials actually they've taken that on where they live full time in a van. It's called van life, and they have all the amenities that an RV have, but they're just going from state to state and visiting all the national parks and so on, and it's they're just living full time, out of their RV
Yeah.
or
And
van.
and Ron, you know a lot of people, so you can make stops along the way, you know? Like I said, you come over here, you could park at my place at any time.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, we have done that already. A lot of times too, we'll just so that the problem too with some these homes, like in our case, I can't park our RV in front of our house or in the
Hmm.
driveway because of our homeowners association. So I have to park it at a storage facility. So
Oh,
I
okay.
do have to double check with friends if we're coming into town if their HOA will allow us to park there or not.
So, Arnie, you were mentioning about cabin fever. Usually, when you go to these places, you just want to discover the sights, all the
Hmm.
things around it. So, you leave your space at 9 o'clock and come back like 8 o'clock at night. And that's what's great about the Type Bean camper van is you can come at night and not worry about parking it because it's easy to park.
Hmm.
But you're usually out and about wherever you are in the park, national parks, but you're rarely inside during the day.
So the only time you're really in there is when you're driving
And to sleep.
and to
Yes.
Get
sleep.
to sleep.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I just thought that you're actually just living in there and staying in there the whole time. So,
Well, some people do, but that's what's nice about a lot of these resorts because they do have the pools,
mhm.
and if they do have nice scenery, if you're out right by the beach, you can walk down to the beach and so on. But that's why we are considering it full time and to change your neighborhood. I mean, from time to time, and cabin fever, it would. Yeah, I don't think you'll experience it if you keep moving from place to place. But you're
Oh, that
basically outdoors.
see that's pretty cool. I guess because I've only done road trips, from Northern California to Southern California. I think that's like the longest road trip I've ever done, except for when I drove out here to Texas. Because usually I'll fly everywhere. So I don't know. I just can't imagine being like in a whole week in a vehicle. So that's just different.
Well, you're in there for the journey, but it's when you get to your destination is where you have your fun.
Yes.
But I would tell you, going on a road trip in a car versus an RV, you're more comfortable in the RV.
Yes.
I can
You know,
imagine.
if you're hungry or thirsty, you can just walk up to the refrigerator, get your drink. But we went to Lake Tahoe from Las Vegas one time, and we had to stop because they were doing road construction.
Hmm.
So we were stuck there for about 45 minutes, and everyone's getting out of their cars. It's very hot, and they're just kind of hanging out. We just decided let's make lunch. It's lunchtime. So we just went in the back, started making sandwiches, and we had our drinks and everything else, just looking outside, and everyone's just kind of standing out there. So that's kind of the luxuries too for road trips, having an RV or a van.
Oh yeah, a luxury. So one of the reasons why we bought one too is I remember driving down to visit my son, and Noah needed to go to the restroom, and the other son was like bothering him, like laughing at him, and I'm like, oh God, it took us 30 minutes, as you know, in LA to just exit, just
Yes.
one exit away. It took us 30 minutes. I'm like, but with the RV, especially during the pandemic, the bathroom was there.
Yeah.
Nothing was open during the pandemic. We'd go to San Francisco, no restaurants, but we'd have our RV to go to the restroom or cook. But it is a luxury, especially when you're taking long trips. But like you said, you feel like you're inside. You're hardly inside. You're only inside to sleep and to travel. Once you get to your destination, you're all over the place discovering the new place, the parks.
And the whole thing that you say it is a luxury, I do have to admit that because every time we take road trips with the boys, we're like, we are not stopping, okay? Because we need to get to LA or San Diego or whatever. And so we're like, hey, you guys are boys. You need a pee? Here's a water bottle. And
Yeah.
that's what we would do with them.
The two boys were making fun of him. It was so bad because he looked like he was in pain. So I thought we got to do something.
Poor guy, poor guy. So let me just ask you, would you recommend people getting an RV and why? Or why not?
I well, having growing up in an RV and giving that same experience to my our own kids,
Hmm.
and even now with just me and my wife heading out or our travel plans and so on, it entices you to go out. I mean, you're gonna buy this big RV, you might as well use it. You have to use it. So it encourages more traveling, to get out of the house, to go visit all these places. And because you do have the luxury of traveling, even though you're driving far, you have your TV in here and everything else to keep you entertained. So it is good for road trips, but it does encourage you to take more travels and to go see more of the sites, more landmarks, and everything else that this country has. So
That's cool. What about you, Miriam?
Absolutely, yes. My niece goes, okay, I want a camper van too, because she just wants to be closer to her kids. And it's things that they would really enjoy as she has like a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. It just brings you closer together. I can't wait till the boys have families and they can join us. Right
Hmm.
now, they want to stay in a hotel, but I know when the kids come, they're going to want to be in the open place because those kids are going to want to run around. But it really is nice because you're really close. You have a lot of talks together. There's the TV is not always on, rarely. Yeah, so you can only entertain yourselves with what you have. So yes, absolutely.
That is so cool. So, Nate, did you want to see who's logged on and any comments made?
Yeah, so we did have a few questions, but first, let's see who's all greeting us. So we have Oliver greeting us. He said he would like to go to Deadwood, South Dakota. Are y'all familiar with that?
No, but thank you for all
I heard
this
about it.
advice.
By the way, my own advice would be if you don't want to take a shower, baby wipes work. They can work. I've done
Yes.
that backpacking. We also have Ivy Villanueva greeting us, Jerry Hill from Mississippi, Foy Francisco. We had several from Jacksonville, Arkansas joining us,
Oh,
and
nice.
they are very lucky because they could just walk out their front door and they're
Yeah.
in the woods and in the mountains. But thank you for joining us here today. Also, Sean Bourgeois joined us this morning,
Oh,
and Roy Aquino, of course, who had his comment earlier, and also Edelyn Aquino. Romilu joined us. Fredolyn Boer also joining us from Jacksonville. TJ also from Jacksonville, Arkansas. Mila Johnson. We also had someone from Isabella West in the Philippines,
oh wow.
Oh
Sally,
wow.
who joined in. I'm always curious, outside of the United States, is RVing a thing at all?
From what I've seen, yes. A lot in Europe, they do
Yes.
quite a bit of more van life. Um, in Australia, I've seen quite a bit, and even up in Canada, there's a lot of uh, RV and van lifers out there that are just. There's so many national parks as well up there in Canada. So there's outside of U.S. Yeah, I've seen quite a bit, and I follow a lot of them that are on YouTube as well, just so that I can get tips and other things, to learn from for that kind of lifestyle.
So Nathan, they had this thing called like a Facebook groups for your type of van, and they tell you like meetup groups. Like some of them will take a group of convoy and go to New Mexico, drive all the way down
Oh yeah.
to South America, or some of them will take a group to drive to Alaska in the summer.
Oh, cool.
So
I've always wanted to do that, drive up to Alaska. But we also have Andre Silva who joined us this morning, and also Diane Silva. Let's see. Oliver had a question. When you're on the road for a couple of days, because he's a minister, where do you park if you attend church since you're traveling?
If the parking lot will allow our big RV to, I mean, we've been to most of the chapels, and been able to park there. But one of my dreams is to do a tour and go to all the chapels, and we'll actually guard the chapel and stay overnight if you let us stay there.
So for us, we always take a picture with the Dan and the chapel. It's one of our things that we do and post it, but it's one of our favorite collection of our photos. So we've had one for all the locales. Pretty easy. We have so many locales, especially in California. So the night before, you just work the state parks around it, or it's easy to park outside. You just can't, park overnight. But most of the chapels and locales
Unless
that
you're
we go
guarding.
to, huh?
Unless you're guarding.
Yes, unless you're guarding. So Ron's willing to guard, and we will take you up in Roseville. Ron, contact us because we will let you. He opened that up.
Let's see. We also had Melanie joining us this morning. Robin Bautista, also from Jackson. I'm telling you, Arkansas, they showed up for our broadcast here today. And let's see. We also had someone from El Paso, Olivia, who joined us. And that's actually, El Paso is actually in Mountain Time Zone, for those who didn't know. We also have Jeff Fernandez from New Jersey. Must be a little tougher to RV in New Jersey, maybe a little bit. You'd have to, well, I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of woods and mountains in New Jersey too. We also have Ferdy from Blue Ridge who joined us. And let's see. We have Ivy from the Philippines, and it's more of a van life that they have out there, not really RVs. I think gasoline prices outside of the U.S. would be a big limiting factor because what kind of gas mileage do you get in an RV on a highway?
I can get, I want to say 19 to 20.
Yeah, that's about.
And we have a big tank as well, so
Ours is the same, but we use regular gas, so we don't use diesel.
Yeah,
and
we
I
have
think
diesel.
with the out of the countries, it depends also on the roads because some of them might not be big enough. But anyway, so our time is up, and so I do want to just say thank you to our guests, Ron and Miriam. Thank you so much for joining us. It was such a pleasure to see you guys. I have not seen you in so long. And we do want to go ahead and give our final thank you to our CFO coordinator and SEBC president, Brother Angelo Eranio Manalo, and of course, our executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. So once again, Ron, Miriam, thank you for joining us. We're going to have you back on next time because now we're going to actually talk about places you go to or things you got to do. So thank you.
Can't wait.
Bye.
Thanks for having us.
This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.